welcome to Folklore Unlocked. I'm Austin, and like usual, I'm joined by Ethan.
Hello again, everyone.
And this week, we're doing something local to us again with the Enfield Horror, or otherwise known as the Enfield Monster.
I
And
hadn't
the
I hadn't heard of the Enfield Horror, the Enfield Monster before.
well, it doesn't really get a lot of attention because Enfield's relatively small. So,
Yeah.
and the first so I'm going to say first sighting since it was the first recorded sighting of the Enfield Horror happened in Enfield, Illinois on April 25th, 1973. And Henry McDaniels returned home about 9:30 and his kids, a son and daughter, aged 12 and 15 at the time, said something tried to enter the house by scratching at the door, then by trying to remove a window mounted air conditioner, and then shortly after being told the story by his kids, Henry started hearing the scratching start again. And Henry got a flashlight and a 22 caliber pistol after looking out the door, and I guess seeing something, maybe not, but either way, he was locked and loaded.
Yeah, so now let's go over McDaniel's sighting. It's a continued, I guess. So Henry proceeded to shoot at the creature, which he believed to that he hit it, and then he said it hissed like a wildcat, and then it like ran off into the night. Illinois State Police showed up, and James Messer helped try to find the creature. But they found tracks, but they couldn't find the monster. And I have some pictures of like the things that people might think they are. So they said it was similar to a dog's tracks, which have five paw pads, but this one had six pads. So it's thought to either be some sort of ape or a kangaroo, and I think by the pictures here you can probably tell which one it's more similar to. Kangaroos do, in all technicality, have six pads, and they kind of look dog-like. Whereas, like, ape footprints, stuff like that, they look more human-like and stuff. So,
Yeah, kind of hard to mistake a 8 footprint for a dog footprint.
yeah. And from what I saw, McDaniels was very adamant that it was not a kangaroo because he said he lived in Australia for a while and had a pet raccoon. Not raccoon, sorry, kangaroo. So he was very adamant that he knew what a kangaroo looked like and it was not a kangaroo. So if you believe him. Then Henry McDaniel's description of the creature, he claimed that he had a photographic memory, and which is why he could remember what it looked like. And McDaniel said that it had three legs, two short arms, and two pink flashlight sized eyes. And said that if it were to be found, there would probably be multiple of them, and they would look alien in nature. They wouldn't look normal.
And how would he know if there would be multiple of these so-called creatures?
Exactly.
If he only saw one, how could he be sure that there were multiple of these creatures in the area?
And so that's one of the things that I caught too. I sat there, I'm like, why would he think there'd be multiple? There's no reason for him to think that. There's only one of them that he saw and he shot at. So, I don't know. But the three leg kind of thing kind of still fits with kangaroo because of its tail could look like a leg. The two short arms, kangaroo's arms are like shorter, and pink flashlight sized eyes that doesn't really fit with kangaroo because their eyes would shine white at night. I already looked it up. So the pink is kind of a eh.
And some other sightings are that some students told McDaniel that they saw a similar creature hours before at a high school baseball game. And another sighting was Greg Garrett, who was 10 at the time, was a boy who lived behind the McDaniels. So him and his family were neighbors with the McDaniels, had an encounter about 30 minutes before the McDaniel incident. And, and the creature reportedly ripped off Garrett's tennis shoes after leaping on Garrett's feet, who then proceeded to run home screaming.
That's understandable. If something ran at me and started ripping up my tennis shoes and stuff, I probably would run and scream too.
Yeah, that's completely understandable, especially for a 10-year-old kid at the time.
Mm-hmm. Which, if they were at a baseball game and stuff like that, I feel like it might have been like earlier in the day, so they would have sunlight to see the creature. So I don't know if they gave us like a description for the one that Greg saw or not.
But yeah, high school baseball games around here usually start about 4:30. I'm not sure what they would when they would start at in 1973, but
Yeah, and it's before the game, okay? So it's not like it's at the very end of the game, which it could have gone into the night. It was before the game even started, so it would be even more likely that there was sunlight out.
yeah. So it wasn't like they were like, oh, it could have been this.
Uh,
And another sighting, or at least a reported sighting, was Rick Rainbow, who was the director of the radio station WWKI in Kokomo, Indiana, began a search for the creature on May 6th, along with three friends. And then that group claimed to have seen a 5.5 foot creature near an abandoned house near the McDaniels. And five other people were detained for while they were looking for the monster for, I guess you could say, uh, I forget what the term is, but shooting randomly.
yeah, having like five people running around with guns looking for a monster does not sound like the best idea to have. That does not.
And I think if I remember right, they were drunk too.
I thought I remembered that too, but I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want because I couldn't remember for sure. But if you think so too, I think I saw it. I read about it too.
Either they were drinking or they were already plastered, one or the other.
Yeah, so drinking and guns don't go together, especially if you're trying to hunt a monster that might just be a kangaroo or an ape or something.
Yeah, drinking and guns just don't mix, just in general.
Mm. There's also a creature in the Mount Vernon, and it was said to be a similar creature, and it went between 1941 and 1942 in Mount Vernon, Illinois, which is 40 miles away from the Enfield location. And it was described as being baboon-like or likened to a devil monkey. And people think it could be the same creature as the Enfield Horror. So since they're that close, uh, so that close, like 40 miles away, it's possible that it could have traveled either to Enfield or from Enfield to Mount Vernon. I don't know, but
And again, these occurrences took place about 30 years apart. So,
oh, they're 30 years apart. I didn't even pay attention to that.
yeah, Mount Vernon creature was in 1941, 1942, and the Enfield Horror was spotted in 1973. So
I don't know how long like animals live, like kangaroo or apes or anything. I don't know how long they live.
I know some apes can live to like 80 years old or something like humans,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure about kangaroos.
yeah, that's the thing. I didn't look that up. Hmm.
But thing is, if Henry McDaniel is right, there very well could have been at least a breeding population somewhere.
Yeah, I think that if there's a population of them out there, I think we would have probably seen more of them than just like, which he did say there would probably be multiple of them if we found them, but I feel like we would have found them.
Exactly. And with that, that brings us to our thoughts. And I believe McDaniel saw something, but it was probably just an escaped ape or kangaroo or something. Just kind of a one off thing because let's be honest, it's Southern Illinois. If there's an animal around here that's not supposed to be here, somebody would have shot and killed it by now.
Yeah, that's safe to say. My thoughts on it. I do think it's a kangaroo. I think all of it kind of fits with the kangaroo story. Kangaroos can grow up to 5 foot tall. I mean, they can grow up to 8 foot tall. So I mean, somewhere between there could have been a younger kangaroo that got released or something. Kangaroos have been known to hiss and growl, so that would be like hiss like a wildcat. Their feet kind of look like dogs, like their footprints, and they have six pads like the reports. Uh, Also, their tail could look like a third leg, and thanks to all the like information, I think it is a kangaroo. Plus, McDaniel's, I like there was a university study done on this case, and when talking to people, it was thought that McDaniel's could possibly have just misremembered things, and he might have just been shooting at shadows. So like he's not to be very believed. So
And really, who's to say if he did have a photographic memory?
oh, I know. Whenever he said like, oh, he supposedly had a photographic memory, I'm like, okay, okay, sure.
That would be his word against everybody else's.
That and like he said like, oh, it's not a kangaroo because I lived in Australia for a while and I had a pet kangaroo. I know what kangaroos look like. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, you might have. Who knows? But it was the middle of the night, and I mean, yeah,
Yeah, middle of the night, you're in a panic. You tend to exaggerate things. You tend not to remember exactly what happened because of all the panic and it being dark out. So,
yeah. Still, about the only thing that does not fit with the kangaroo aspect of it is the eyes. Because kangaroos' eyes would reflect white light instead of red light, so it would come. Their eyes would look white when we see them. So it's not like the pink that he said they were, but I mean, he could also be like colorblind for all I know. I don't know.
and the occurrences of Enfield taking place, hell, 50 years ago,
Mm.
we may never know the exact truth behind this. So, anything else you want to add?
No, I think I got my 2 cents out there.
Well, next week we're gonna have to change up the schedule a little bit, but we'll be back early next week with a new episode about dragons.
Ooh, I love.
So, so stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Anything you'd like to say, Ethan?
No, just thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify if you're on Spotify. and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye, everyone.